Good morning, Mr. Britcher.
Good morning, Mr. Little.
Mr. Britcher, could you please explain items 1 and 2 on the board, starting with 1, initial project schedule?
Yes, folks, what we're doing is we're passing around a schedule. There's a Britcher master and a little master, and what you guys are going to do, you're going to initial the time that you folks are going, so I know when you know that I know that when you're going.
So that's the purpose of the initialing.
Yes, so you guys can record that.
All right, number 2 addresses the project itself. Can you explain the what, who, when, why, and how?
Yes, folks, this is, if you will, a simple rubric that we're going to be using to grade your project. And when you guys bring something in, for example, say if I was a student and I made this arrow, I would explain the what, the who, the when, the why, and the how.
So what is that?
Well, first of all, it's an arrow. And I based it upon a Cayuga design. Unfortunately, I was unable to make a stone tip. I tried, but it broke. So what I did is I took a can, cut the can, and put a piece of metal on it. And that would take it actually to, a post-Columbian exchange. But if this is a pre-Columbian exchange arrow, the wood would be probably a hard hickory if I could get that. Okay, now I had to use maple, and that's what I did. And the arrow point again would have been stone. And I would have wrapped it with tendons of the deer that I killed, or another small animal that might have, like a rabbit. And I would have wrapped it around here, and I would have allowed it to dry, which would have adhered the stone to the arrow itself. Unfortunately, I had to use string and a little bit of glue. Okay, but that's what I had. So that's a post-Columbian. The feathers. The feathers could have been many different feathers. They say maybe like eagle, or if you could get the eagle, or turkey feathers, which turkeys were around. But I had to use chicken feathers, and I dyed them with a magic marker. Okay, and also there's the tendon that I would use. And then if I was going to paint it or decorate, if you will, I probably would have been using some type of red berries and probably walnut to stain this black here. The black walnuts out there. Unfortunately, I just took my magic markers and did it like this, but I think it looks fairly decent for what I did.
Who would have used that arrow?
The young men in the Cayugas would have been starting using this at an early age, from playing games, shooting at objects and things, to men actually hunting animals and such. They could also possibly use it for war, but in the pre-Columbian exchange, they would rather use clubs and arrows, and they're a little more deadly.
Excuse me, Mr. Little, could you put this out?
Yes.
Thank you.
When would I think you already mentioned this, but when would this have arrow appeared?
Oh, well, the arrows, they go back over 1,500 years ago, easily coming around for the Native Americans.
Why would have somebody used an arrow like this?
Again, as I mentioned, either from hunting, game, and also defense, war.
How is this arrow significant in the culture of, in this case, I believe you said?
Well, the Cayugas. Going back to Hiawatha, he used an arrow as being, each tribe was an arrow. And taking the Mohawks and the other 5 other tribes together, if they would band together, their arrow would be unbreakable. You could break an arrow easily, but however, one arrow or arrows bound together, it's hard to break, and that's hence formed their Confederacy. Ben Franklin also used that example when he was presenting this to the Continental Congress with the 13 states, and also in the French and Indian War. He said, if we bound together, we would be strong. But if, like, say, example, Pennsylvania tried to fight Great Britain, they would be weak and easily broken.
So it's not only an arrow for food, hunting, warfare, but it has symbolic purposes.
Yes, it does.
Also for the strength of the culture. What about safety and like bringing something like this on the bus?
We have boxes being ordered. They should be here on Friday. Pick up your box. If you're making something like this and have to bring a arrow in or whatever you're making, we had the discussion with everybody, and there will be a box that must be sealed in a box. I have boxes that are long and small and whatever you have, but anything that could be considered that could possibly hurt somebody should be brought in a sealed box with your name on it, with your teacher's name on it, and the period that you have on it. And you'll bring in the box the first thing in the morning, sealed, and you'll bring it to us, and then we can unseal it for class and things like that. We're looking for safety.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Iroquois Native American Northeast region, Northeast Woodland Native